Now that we have the 3 views completed for this drawing, we want to work on the isometric, which you can see the finished one there. That's not in your packet, but we're still going to be doing the ISO here. Before you start an isometric drawing, you have to make sure that your grid is set to isometric. To do that, you go down here to your grid and snap settings. You right-click, go to the settings, and make sure it's set to isometric, and then hit OK. You'll notice the cursor changes to red and green, and the grid is now kind of flat and angled. To change that orientation of the grid, you would hit Control, hold down Control, and type E on the keyboard. That's your isoplane right, left, and top. So there's 3 different planes. We want to make sure we start with the ISO top. So that's Control E. You also want to make sure that ortho is on. So we've been using polar for our 3 views to keep lines straight. In isometric, we want to use ortho, which is this one. It's like an L with a little square in it. To start the isometric on this one, I think the easiest way to do it is start with this inside rectangle, which would be 1.5 inches by 6 inches. And we're going to start and kind of work at the bottom and work our way up. You can kind of see how I've started it already a little bit. So I'm going to grab a line. I'm going to go this way. Again, my ortho is on. My isometric grid is on. I'm going to draw it 6 inches. Then I'm going to go this way, 1.5, back 6, and then 1.5 again. If I didn't have ortho on, see, it makes it really easy to kind of draw a line crooked. So that's why we want to leave it on for this isometric drawing. Next, I want to divide this rectangle into 2 parts. So I'm going to draw a line right through the middle using my midpoint O snaps. And now I can draw the circles. Now, in isometric, you won't use the circle tool. You're going to use ellipse to do like this 3.5, which we'll start with that. So again, don't use the circle tool in isometric. We're going to use a tool called ellipse. To get that, you type in EL, and then hit enter. Next, you have to set it to an ISO circle. If you notice, one of the options here is ISO circle. Click that, or you can do I enter. And then we specify our center point, which is going to be right here in the middle. It's going to default to radius. We want a diameter, so click diameter or hit de-enter. And that big outside circle is 3.5. At this point, I can kind of start trimming a little bit. I'm going to do TR, enter, because I don't need all of this. I'm going to trim all this, and this. And then this line I'll delete. All right, the only thing left for this outside is the fillets, or the 1/4 inch radius is on the 4 corners, and the 1/2 inch radius is on the 4 inside corners. I'm going to start with the 1/2 inch radius. For that, we can use the fillet tool. So F enter, R enter, set it to 0.5. Just click my lines, I'm hitting enter. But at a 1/2 inch fillet on those 4 inside corners. The 4 outside corners, we're not going to use fillet. Fillet's not going to work for the smaller 1/4 inch radiuses. Not every tool, like offset, circle, don't work well in isometric. So instead of using fillet, we're actually going to use the ellipse tool, but we need to find the center point. Since it's a 1/4 inch radius, we're going to draw 2 lines from the corner, a 1/4 inch over and a 1/4 inch up to get to the center point. So I'm going to grab a line. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go this way, 0.25. 0.25 this way. Same thing here. I'm going to go 0.25 and 0.25. Doesn't matter which way you go. Just make sure both lines are 0.25, 0.25, because now I can get to the center of that ellipse. So EL enter for ellipse. I enter for ISO circle, specify my center point, which will be the end of that line, and my radius is 0.25. Do that one more time. EL enter, I enter, specify my center point, and then 0.25 for the radius. Now we got to do the same thing on this other side. However, we could save some time by using copy. I still need to do the two lines, though, 0.25, 0.25. So instead of doing the circles and doing another line, I'm just going to take what I already have, those two ellipses, and I'm going to click copy. I'm going to use this as a center point right here, or a base point, the center of this one. And I'm going to drag it all the way over this way to the end point right there. It escapes. So now I just copied those two over there. Now I got to trim and clean it up. So TR, enter, enter. This, get rid of this, get rid of the corners. Okay, the lines that won't trim are the ones I drew, so I need to delete them. And then same thing here. We're going to do TR, enter, enter. Get rid of the ellipse. Get rid of the corners. And then delete these lines. So the base is now done. The base is also, though, a 1/2 inch thick. So instead of doing that all again, down a 1/2 inch, I'm just going to copy this down 0.5. So I'm going to select the whole thing. Again, if you could copy things, you can save yourself a lot of time by not having to do extra work. Click copy or CO enter. Base point, it really doesn't matter for this. I'm just going to click over here, and I need to go straight down. Notice I can go forward or kind of back to the left, but I want to go straight down. It's not letting me go straight down, so that means I need to do a Control E and change the ISO plane. So Control E. There we go. Now I can go down. I'm just going to push it down, and I'm going to type in 0.5. I just moved it or copied it down 0.5. And I'll have to clean up a little bit. Not all of this I will see, because it's going to be hidden behind there. We're not going to show hidden lines. These two corners, drag or grab a line, quadrant to quadrant. Quadrant is the diamond O-snap. Grab another line from here to there. You're looking for quadrant O-snap. And now you can do a TR, enter, enter. Get rid of this little curl and this little one as well. The base is now done. I just got to get the larger circle that's sticking up. That would be the 2 3/4, and it's also got the through hole of 1.75. So let's start with the 2.75 first. So that's another ellipse. So EL enter, I enter. With my center point, which is here. Now again, my plane is wrong, so I need to do a Control E, and it's still wrong. Another Control E. So sometimes you have to do Control E a few times to get to the right plane. That looks good. This is a diameter, so de-enter. And that one is 2.75. Now I can copy that up. I'm at the bottom. I need to go up. The whole part is 2 inches. However, I'm already a 1/2 inch up. So you got to do the math to figure out how far is it going to go from right here to right there. That's how far you want to copy it up. So first I'm going to hit CO for copy, hit enter, click this ellipse, hit enter. Here's my base point. Now again, I want to push it straight up. So that's a Control E to get it going straight up. There we go. We're going straight up. And if you did the math right, it should be 1.5. I'm going to draw a line from here to here using the quadrant O-snaps and another line on that side. A little bit more cleanup. So TR, enter, enter. We're going to get rid of this, 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 that. And then this little part, since I wasn't able to trim it, I'm just going to click it and delete it. The inside circle on the top is the 1.75. So another ellipse. EL, enter. I enter. Click here. Control E. E enter, and that is 1.75. And the last thing is going to be the 0.5156 drill hole and the 1 inch outer hole that kind of is raised up 1/8 of an inch. The distance from the middle to the center of those holes is 2 1/4. So before we draw them, we need to get them in the right spot. So we need to draw a line over both ways, 2 1/4 from the middle. So I'm going to grab a line, making sure if you kind of move your mouse around, you should get the little center point to pop up. So there's my center. And I want to go this way, 2.25, enter. And I'll go this way, 2.25. And now I need to do my ellipsis. So EL, enter, I enter, T, enter. Let's see, we'll do the 1 inch. And then do this again. D, enter, 0.5156. Now they're raised up a little bit. That little distance is 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to copy those 2 circles I just drew up 1/8 of an inch, so I don't have to redo them. So copy, click here, go straight up. So that's another Control E, 0.125. And I'm going to delete, well, I'm going to leave that line for now. I need to connect the corners. So quadrant to quadrant. And then quadrant to quadrant here. More trimming. So TR, enter, enter. Actually, I'm going to do a TR, enter. I'm going to keep that little line I just drew here. And keep the little line I drew there. Hit enter, and I can get rid of this part of the circle. And then here could be a TR, enter, enter, and I'll get rid of this part of the circle. And I guess I can delete that line. I don't need it. That's what your circle will look like in isometric. We're not going to do the 1/8 inch rounds. When we get to 3D modeling, we can do that. But for this, we're going to leave these off of the isometric. Last thing is I'm going to take this. I could delete this line too. And I'm going to copy it to the other side. Got to figure out the distance though. So from here all the way to there is what? It's going to be 2 1/4 plus 2 1/4 to go all the way over. So what? 4 1/2. So I'm going to take, first select it, CO for copy. I click here. I'm going to push it this way, and it looks like it won't let me. So Control E. Okay, now we're going the right way, and I'm going to type in 4.5. Notice again, I've got to do some more trimming. This, enter. Now I should be able to get rid of everything to the right of this line. Now sometimes it won't let you trim things. Like here, I can't trim that. I'm going to delete it. Delete this, delete that. You'll notice how I have mine shaded in. If you'd like to do that, that's a gradient. The gradient tool is right here. It's under hatch. You click gradient. Feel free to pick whatever color you want. It happens to default to blue and yellow, but you can do whatever colors you want. And let's say I'll click linear, and I'll use that for the top view. And maybe here and there, hit enter. I'll do another gradient. Maybe I'll do this one here, and I'll do that on the front. Hit enter. So it's kind of up to you how you want to do this, but feel free to be creative with how you shade it in. I can click here. I can click there, hit enter. And if you want to keep going, you can. When you're done with this, you're going to set this one up on ANSI B 1:1 scale. ANSI B, set it to 1:1. Whoops. And there is my finished drawing. I just have to fill in my title block and probably clean this out of here as well. So that completes now the shaft support 3 view and isometric drawings.